ostomy surgery, you're going to have to let your body recover for a while before you get back to work. The length of time that you're off from work will vary from person to person. Some people are back at work within a month after surgery, some people are back at work after a year. The idea of going back to work with a new stoma can be a little bit scary. Some people worry what their colleagues will say, or that they won't be able to go back to the job that they were doing before. Some people worry about emptying or changing their bag when at work, or that they might have a leak when they're at work. It might sound silly, but doing a trial run of getting up, getting dressed, packing lunch, or whatever you would do on a normal work day, but not actually go to work, just do like a trial run, it's actually a really good idea because you get to understand the timings. If you change your pouch in the morning, or if you're working out what clothes to wear, it's just a good idea to just do a trial run and get an idea of timings and how you feel, especially in work clothes, especially if there's a uniform where you work, just making sure everything's comfortable and nothing's too restrictive, and just making sure that when you do finally go back to work that you're fully prepared and you've kind of done your trial run so you know what to expect on a typical morning. It's a good idea that when you go to work that you take a spare set of supplies and maybe a spare set of clothes if you're particularly nervous. You might have a locker at work, so you can always store things in your locker, but if not, do what I do and leave it in the back of your car. That way, if you have to change your appliance, that you can quickly go and get the supplies and hopefully no one will notice. Something that will help you adjust when going back to work is just knowing all the facilities within your workplace. Making sure you know that all the toilets are available, and also if your workplace has disabled toilets, that's a good idea because they tend to have a sink in that cubicle. So if you do have to change your appliance, and obviously you need water just to clean the area, a disabled toilet is perfect because then at least you can have access to running water and you have pretty much all the supplies you should need for changing your appliance. It might be that your colleagues are aware that you were away on sick leave. They may not know all the ins and outs, but it is totally up to you if you want to tell them or not. Some people just might not feel as though they want their colleagues to know about everything. If you do want to tell your colleagues, just be prepared. They may want to ask questions, they may not want to know anything. Just be mindful that some people might not want to know all the ins and outs of everything. Some people are a bit squeamish, so they might not want to know about stomas and intestines, whereas some people might, be really, really interested and ask you loads of questions. My best friend Heather, she was totally obsessed and wanted to know everything about it. So you'll have a mix of reactions if you do decide to tell anyone. Having a stoma doesn't mean that you have to stop being active, but just be careful when lifting things that you protect your abdomen so that you don't get a hernia or cause any further damage. If you have a job that involves manual work and you return back to work, you may have to go through an assessment just to make sure that you are fit to go back to that same role, but it will vary across all the different employers. So just check with your employer and just make sure that you are fit for the role, because the last thing they want is for you to go back to a role and then get injured or injure someone else or anything. So just be careful, don't go full pelt back into your job. So just take it easy, and like I say, there may be an assessment where you just have to make sure that you are fully prepared and in working condition to go back to a manual role. When applying for a new job, it could be that you have to declare certain medical conditions on the application form or during the application process at some point. If you have any problems, you can always contact the Citizens Advice Bureau, or you can always contact your trade union representative. Well, I hope this video helps, and don't feel pressured that you have to tell your colleagues about your ostomy, and don't feel as though you have to rush to get back to work. Yes, you might have an allocated sickness period, but the worst thing you will do is rush back to work before your body is ready, because you might end up causing more damage or making yourself just really unwell. So make sure you are definitely ready to go back to work, and when you do go back to work, Don't feel that you can't do what you did before. You know, a lot of ostomates go back to the exact same role that they did before without any problems, or, you know, they change jobs, or they get promoted, or they, you know, start up a business. It'll hopefully improve your health, but it shouldn't affect your working life or your personal life. If you're due to go back to work soon, or if you're already back at work, tell me all about it. I'd love to hear how you're getting on. Tweet at Coloplast_UK with the hashtag MyOstomy Story.